Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day. So far in 6 teams remain at the Call of Duty World Championship, but by the end of today there will only be 2 grand finalists left in the tournament. OpTic are confident they can bounce back up against New York in what will be Scump's first match against Crimsix at the World Championship since 2014. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to discuss today. First of all, just some kind of good news in general about the stats for Champs so far. This is from Friday, but yesterday the stream for me, it's kind of strange because it was like 120k and then it just spiked to like 176 out of nowhere and then went straight back down. I'm not really sure what was happening there for the OpTic Thieves series, but yeah, it's been a great event so far. The matches have been cracking, honestly, and there's going to be more today. Today should be the best day of the event, to be honest. This was noticed yesterday by a few people as well. I was obviously like, I don't know, I was looking away while this happens, but for some reason this Titan thing came up on screen. Not really sure with what this could or would refer to, because there were some rumours that we were going to get some sort of teasers for Modern Warfare 2 this weekend. Don't know if this actually means anything, but if you guys saw this and have an idea, definitely leave it in the comments section below. This also temp I thought was kind of funny, right, because the MVP or the All-Star voting breakdown was that, as you can see right here. So of course the MVP went, well, to Cellium over Dashy in the end, and Kenny was somehow number 3. But this was the All-Star voting, voted by fans, players, coaches, GMs, and the talent and the media. So kind of funny, right, out of the AR players, Dashy, Cellium, Simp, and Attach get it, and it could well have been Temp. If you see here, Attach is 355, Temp is 444 in terms of the AR rankings between the fans, players, and coaches, GMs. Like, even the coaches and GMs gave Temp a lot of credit, whereas the talent just decided to give Temp 12th, right? They were like, no, you're not having an all-star spot. We're gonna maybe even collude, right, to just say, yeah, we're not giving it to Temp, and just all of them voted him as the worst AR in the league. There's no way Temp is the worst AR in the league, or out of all the, I guess, ARs that they were considering here, but just funny that everyone else had him as like 4th best, and then the talent and the media give him 12, and then he gets a weighted score of 6 and misses out. So he wasn't so happy about this. He was like, you know, what did I do to the talent media to deserve a score like this? The other question is, for other ARs in the league, what do they do next? There's of course been some Rostermania talk from the likes of, I mean, Zero already is like, look, what's next for me? Who knows? Even last night on the flank they were discussing, look, there's definitely some potential in that London team. Afro, Nastie, Gismo, they've all shown it. Zero, we know what he can do. He's a kind of a known quantity, right? Won an event many years ago, but since then has had a rather difficult time. He was meant to be the guy to kind of lead this team to success. They've had some element of success so far this season, but it's not quite what Seattle have achieved with a relatively similar team setup. And yes, accuracy was getting absolutely ultrified for, well, last stage and also the major so far, but he did win them to lead Major 3. Zero hasn't been able to accomplish quite that with this London team, so there will be questions raised about what's next for Zero. Is he going to stay here? Will they build around a different AR? Will they bring someone else into the team? Because even Clayster was actually linked to London a couple of years ago, and maybe you'd think, okay, Clayster plus those rookies, is that a way to get more out of them? It's a question. I hope Zero can either stay or find a spot elsewhere, though, because I still think he's a fantastic player. And as he says, look, I'm not retiring unless I'm forced to. So London might force him out. They might just drop him. And but you know, I still think he'll get a spot elsewhere. He's just too versatile of a player to not get a spot next season. That's what I think, but it is a very competitive league indeed. The other question actually is around Methodz, and some people were reading into this tweet a fair bit, which I'm not really sure there's that much to read into, but I just thought I'd mention it regardless. Of course, pretty heartbroken the loss that Boston had, but look, we saw this one coming a mile away. London and Boston were clearly the top 8 teams I thought of this event. That's where they place. As Methodz says, thank you Boston for believing in me and the guys this year. I had no idea what was in store for me this year, but I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity and their support despite our disappointing end to the year. To the fans, thank you, that type of stuff. And then Adam Morrison says from Octane Esports, Boston Bridge, thanks for everything you've done for us as well. We appreciate you and are fortunate to have had you in our corner. Kind of an interesting phrasing, just because it almost seems like, okay, yeah, we've had you in our corner, and now maybe going forwards that will no longer be the case. Of course, we don't know what Boston's plan is with regard to Rostermania, but they do have a good SMG duo in Nero and Vivid. Will they switch up TJ? Will they switch up Methodz? Who knows? But Methodz stock now is in a better place than it was a year ago, when it was like, okay, will he get a spot on the Washington Demon Cats, or they ended up, of course, becoming the Boston Bridge because Washington pulled out for whatever reason. And I still think Methodz will get a spot next year, but maybe it won't be on Boston. Who knows? Let's talk about the Passion Pit then, because the challenges has been going on, and in fairness, they did actually allow a crowd into the venue, so awesome to see the spectators were even there. And yeah, Ultra and A, they're just doing it again. Scrappy's talking trash. Look at Vickle here as well. There's a bit of you know, this is honestly a hotly contested series, because this was up against Exceed's team. Honestly, the Passion's out of control. Let's go and shake it. And I mean, yeah, that's Vickle, by the way. He comes out kind of quick after that, but yeah, definitely was letting them know, because that was the team of Exceed. An Assault came from that team to join them, and they effectively dropped Mohawk, right, and put him onto that team, and that's the team that they formed. And they were expecting a better fight in this series, right? Obviously, say anything like that when there's beef in challenges and then the two teams play each other, it's always going to pop off. But this is how the tournament has gone so far. So Ultra NA versus Team War actually in the winners final. They took down Ultra EU pretty comfortably, who then got bopped out of the tournament by AIM. That's the Spanish team. They all play aBeZy, which is the squad that we just saw lose to Ultra NA in the losers round 3. But actually in the losers round 2, it was exposed team of Clayster and the boys, of course, that actually goes out right there. So these are the placings so far. Clayster's team out top 6, as with Ultra EU. Big surprise to me because I thought they'd make it at least maybe top 4, top 3 and beyond. Point Blank and D1 as expected, really the teams from the weaker regions. I'm sure like Panda's team and stuff will be pretty frustrated they didn't make it, given some of the teams that did make it, but that's just the format they went for this year. But yeah, Clayster out top 6, big surprise really for him. As he says, whatever, I guess, top 6 warrior, absolutely gutted from this year, really tested my mental, hopefully get back in the league next season, because this challenger stuff is for the birds, right? He's had enough, he doesn't want to play it anymore, so look, he's trying to get back in the league. He had opportunities this season, he almost made it back, but he's not doing challenges again. As he says, not a single setup I played on in challenges felt like home the whole year, not once. He reckons just every single setup he played on was markedly different to the others. And he goes on to say this, incredibly demotivating to do everything right after I got benched and then get blocked from joining a multitude of teams, including New York, for a variety of reasons. I don't care about getting paid, I just want to play. 11 different teammates in 4 months. Jesus Christ, man, what am I doing? So yeah, Clayster frustrated. He does leave these tweets up, but yeah, saying he got blocked from joining a multitude of teams. We understand that New York didn't want to come to an arrangement, and even New York themselves, like I think they were thinking about bringing Clayster back into the team, but then they won the Pro-Am Classic with Crimsix, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to keep you on the bench now, Clay. Like, we're not going to bring you back. So I do think Clay will get a chance next season, but this is effectively last chance saloon for Clay, right? He's done challenges, he's given it a good go, proven he wants to play, and done some decent things. Even making champs was pretty impressive, but yeah, not got the results that he wanted. I still think he can be a great leader for a team. We shall see if a team gives him a good opportunity next season. I think he'll get one, but if he doesn't, he has made it very clear that he is just going to retire and hang it up, because he can't do challenges again. As he says, look, hope I showed everyone I still want to play, still put my all into the game, still have what it takes. Fair play to Clay really actually doing this, because other pros in his position might have said, look, I'm just going to not even bother playing challenges and I'll just get a spot next year off my name value. But he committed to it, he showed some good promise. But challenges obviously is an absolute minefield down there. Let's talk about the OpTic guys then real quick, because of course yesterday was probably their most dominant series defeat in quite some time. They were barely winning their defensive rounds on Gavutu control. They got destroyed on their offenses, as you expect generally for Gavutu. In fairness, it goes round 5 regardless. But Thieves were just so much better than them this series. Game 1 was a 60-point club. Actually, like, I'm pretty sure that's the most dominant hardpoint of the year so far, with the exception of Paris Legion. And I think both of those wins belong to Thieves. Thieves, I think 250 to 57s. Paris on, maybe it was the same actually on Gavutu early this year. And then the second biggest blowout of any series so far this season in a hardpoint was the 250 to 58 yesterday up against OpTic Texas. So that's kind of crazy that OpTic are in that type of company. But that was just, in fairness, the way that Thieves were playing. OpTic, of course, weren't good at all. They looked shell-shocked. The Thieves played lights out Call of Duty, right? And as Cinder says, didn't play like how well we've been in practice today, but tomorrow is a new day and I'm still very confident that we can make a run and win this. Got to come out looking clean and consistent. So no comments really from the players, but from the coaching staff, Cinder still reckons like we played great in practice, just didn't translate it into the games. And as Rambo says, they came out firing and played some really good COD. Nobody said this is going to be easy. We'll be better tomorrow. Time for a loser's run. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Of course, that's been the talk all season from Rambo, right? Like, okay, all that matters is the World Championship. They're now here. They're now in losers. A losers bracket run is very possible. It's very momentum based. Today, you need to win 3 series to make it to the grand finals. If you are one of these teams in the losers bracket, and even in the grand finals, you don't have too much of a disadvantage, right? With the straight best of 9, with only the veto disadvantage. So the losers bracket is definitely doable this time round, but the way they played yesterday, it's not going to happen if they repeat a performance like that, there's no doubt. And just to mention this as well, because this was being talked about on stream and other people have mentioned this as well, and this was even the case, I'm pretty sure, back in 2015, right, with the fact that even though I'm pretty sure Clayster didn't go directly from OpTic to Denial, like they dropped Clayster after the Ghost season, right, to 2014, they had Clayster on the OpTic team back in Ghost. They're that awesome team of, Proofy, Clay, Nadeshot, and Scump, and then anyway, Clay gets dropped, he then goes elsewhere, ends up joining Denial, where he then wins the World Championship next year. Then in more recent times, we've seen that OpTic dropped Crimsix in 2019, he went on to win Champs the next season. They didn't really drop Arcitys, right? I know the league is saying they dropped him. Like, Arcitys asked to leave, and Hex was like, yeah, that's fine, you can go and join FaZe, like the team you want to join with the role you want to run. So not necessarily they dropped him, and it wasn't even really OpTic, right? It was Chicago Huntsman. So there's a few things you have to kind of think about here to make this happen. But the storyline does still add up to a degree of players that were on their team, leave the team for whatever reason, and then next season win the World Championship. Envoy is maybe on a similar trend to make exactly that happen once again. These are the games then for today. Pretty sure the schedule here on the left-hand side is slightly wrong. This is the actual corrected one we'll see here in a second. The games are brought back today by 1 hour 30 to account for the fact that there's 5 games today and just the grand finals tomorrow. But I mean, yeah, we'll look at the schedule in a second. This to me is the key storyline though. Crimsix versus Scump. Loser of this series gets top 6. Like, I mean, yeah, number 1, number 2, all time, whatever way you want to look at it. We've seen the beef and the drama in their career briefly after the Black Ops 4 season. They seem to have kind of squashed it a little bit since then, but certainly they're very much going to want to beat each other in this one. And honestly, they did used to play each other quite a lot of the World Championship in 2013 and 2014. OpTic played Complexity both years, actually. One time Scump came out on top, and then the other time it was Crimsix who came out on top in 2014. After that, of course, they teamed up on the OpTic dynasty for many years after that, and became the longest teaming duo in Call of Duty history. Since then, though, they're split up again, and this is the first time they'll play each other at Champs since back in 2014. It's been 8 years since we've seen this matchup at Champs, so, well, we're going to see it again today. This is the bracket as it currently stands. A FaZe Thieves in the winners final, as many might well have predicted. The losers bracket is OpTic Subliners and Surge Ultra, and will go all the way today to the grand final. So FaZe Thieves play each other later on, but all the losers bracket games will happen as well. These are then the games of the day. So they start a little bit early, an hour and a half earlier, 10:30 Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, or 1:30 Eastern, 6:30 over here in the UK. Surge Ultra. This is like surely got a game 5 written all over it, right? Ultra love to go game 5 in these type of situations. I must say I just wasn't particularly impressed by Surge's Search and Destroy yesterday, to the point where I'm going to take Ultra to win it in 5. Like, I thought Surge would have something in Search to do the damage over FaZe. Didn't happen at all. I think I'm just about going to take Ultra and Surge go out here top 6, but tough to call really. I think that's a game 5 series. OpTic New York. I predicted going into the tournament that the bracket would play out pretty much as it did. Like, the only series I got wrong so far is Surge losing to FaZe. But in my bracket, I did have OpTic playing New York, and I did have New York moving on. I do think they're marginally the stronger team at the moment. Like, look, it's a close fought affair though, because if this goes game 5, OpTic definitely have what it takes. They're going to need to play a lot better than yesterday though. And look, OpTic just can't seem to win a control right now, and that I think is going to hurt them here. So I'm going to take Dubliners in 4, I think. And OpTic to come top 6 back-to-back years, that'd be a tough result. But I mean, look, they're going to have to really deliver the goods today if they want to turn it around, because they play tough teams every match they play. Then FaZe Thieves. The last 2 times Thieves have played FaZe, it's been Thieves that have come on top right at Major 4, and they looked pretty good in those series. FaZe did look better yesterday, but still can't seem to win hard points if they come down to the wire. And Thieves just look so dominant against OpTic that it's really tough to look past them in this series. I think the map pool for Thieves is looking very good right now. This, of course, is to determine the first grand finalist. So I think I'm going to take Thieves here, but I will give you guys an absolutely incredible statistic that, well, firstly, FaZe don't lose on Saturday, but also that Simp in his career has never lost a match at the World Championship on LAN. That is so absurd. Black Ops 4, Cold War, both the World Championships on LAN. He won every single series he played. He's now 13-0 in series played at World Championships on LAN. Of course, Modern Warfare was the year when it was online, but I mean, yeah, so if that's anything to go by, they'll win this series and the grand finals, but I think the Thieves might have something to say about that. And then if the bracket continues as I predicted, then it will go New York versus Ultra, which honestly, I kind of feel like Ultra in 5 might happen, but whoever wins in that series, they're going to lose to potentially FaZe or whoever it will be in the losers finals, and we're going to get a FaZe Thieves rematch, whatever happens for the championship Sunday, at least in my opinion. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.